Hello, my brothers and sisters. I'm Father Frank Pavone, National Director of Priests for Life, and I want to thank you for the opportunity you've given me today to share with you some encouragement in regard to our upcoming election. In the year 2004, voters' values from all across the country astonished the political experts and commentators and the media as they showed the country that indeed values such as protecting the right to life were more of a motivating factor than any other issue. And across the country, at all levels of government, we elected pro-life candidates and candidates that were willing to do something to advance the protection of the unborn. Now we approach the elections of 2006, and we need to do it again. I'm convinced that the momentum has not gone away. The momentum is still on our side, and more people are waking up to the fact, first of all, that they have to bring their moral convictions into the voting booth, and secondly, that the most important issue is, in fact, the protection of life. We as believers are not second-class citizens. We're not supposed to just sit on the sidelines and watch somebody else elect the people who will make the laws by which we all have to abide. No, we are more and more realizing across the spectrum of Christianity that the same eyes that read the Word of God are the eyes that read the names of the candidates on the ballot, and the same hands lifted up in prayer are the hands that pull the lever in the voting booth. We don't cease to be Christians when we go into those voting booths. Rather, we go in as believers, knowing that we have a mandate from the Lord to renew the face of the earth, to change the culture, to fashion a nation that respects and protects every human life. Elections are transfers of power. They are not canonizations of individuals. We're not supposed to be looking for perfect candidates. Elections are transfers of power where we see how we can, at the moment, best advance and make progress for the protection of life. Indeed, there are so many things that you and I have to do ourselves and mobilize others to do as we approach Election Day. First of all, of course, to make sure that people are registered to vote. Doing this ourselves, helping conduct voter registration drives in churches, checking with our mailing lists or our email lists to see that the people there are registered to vote, giving people in our prayer groups and Bible studies an opportunity to fill out the voter registration form, putting a link on our website to other websites that will enable them to obtain the forms online. These are some of the many things we can do in terms of voter registration. It's perfectly legal for churches to conduct voter registration drives as long as they are done in a nonpartisan manner. Then we can also focus and must focus on voter education, letting people know by means of voter guides the positions of the candidates. This is where oftentimes many volunteers are needed, especially as Election Day approaches, to hand out literature on the street corners and in other venues. If you want to sign up as a volunteer for some of these activities, visit our Priests for Life website. You'll be able to indicate online the things you can do, and then we'll be glad to connect you with the groups in your local community who need that assistance as Election Day draws near. Remember the principle of the low-hanging fruit. As we get close to Election Day, keep in mind that what really matters in the end is numbers. It's the number of voters who vote for a candidate that determines the candidate who wins. Therefore, if you have to expend a certain amount of energy to get your Uncle Fred to be convinced to vote for the candidate of your choice, you may end up gaining one extra vote. But if with the same amount of time and energy that it took to convince him, you could get 20 other people who already agree with you, then doesn't it make more sense to work on getting the 20 other people to actually cast their vote than it does to simply convince one person? Eventually, we want to convert everyone, but when it comes to elections, let's focus on getting as many people to the polls as possible. Yes, we're going to do it again in 2006 because the Supreme Court is still at stake, and it's still more true than ever to ask the public, if a politician can't respect the life of a little baby, how's he supposed to respect yours or mine? The right to life is the foundation of every issue. All issues are important, but none would be an issue at all if not for the sacredness of life. I encourage you to be more active than ever in this year's elections. Let's move forward to victory.